It's currently $3 trillion as an industry. If I extrapolate out the rate of growth, the trend rate of adoption is twice the speed of the internet. As the internet slowed down in adoption rates because it gets more saturated, if we extrapolate the same, we get to about 4 billion users by 2030. So this is the largest, fastest accumulation of wealth in all human history that lies ahead of us. It's the big rebalance, how everybody can get involved, whichever country you're in, however much you earn. Right, so it's the big one, the biggest macro trade of all time.
The next crypto boom is on the horizon, and it's shaping up to be the most monumental surge in history. According to Raoul Pal, CEO of Real Vision and a seasoned macro analyst, the crypto industry is expanding at a pace that outstrips even the early growth of the internet. Pal predicts that with this unprecedented adoption rate, the market could skyrocket to an astonishing $100 trillion valuation and attract up to 4 billion users within the next 5 years. Raoul Pal breaks the crypto cycle into 4 distinct seasons, and the crypto fall is where the action happens. This is the phase of explosive market growth that propels prices to record-breaking levels. Pal believes this transformative period could begin as soon as next year. Stay tuned for the full breakdown, as he dives deeper into the reasons why crypto is primed for a historic surge. Also, if you enjoy listening to crypto-related content, please show your support by liking and subscribing to this channel by following the link in my bio. And get access to my free daily crypto updates and expert predictions direct to your inbox. Each newsletter contains market intelligence, on-chain data and latest updates from experts in the crypto space. All of this is available completely free of charge. Signing up only takes a moment and you can always change your mind later on. Now back over to Raoul Pal.
It's currently $3 trillion as an industry. If I extrapolate out the rate of growth, the trend rate of adoption is twice the speed of the internet. As the internet slowed down in adoption rates because it gets more saturated, if we extrapolate the same, we get to about 4 billion users by 2030. So I think the asset class goes to $100 billion, and we're only 3% of the way there. So this is the largest, fastest accumulation of wealth in all human history that lies ahead of us. It's the big rebalance, how everybody can get involved, whichever country you're in, however much you earn. Right, so it's the big one, the biggest macro trade of all time. That's primarily my interest in the trade. The whole space is driven by network adoption. More people join the network, the more applications that get built, the more valuable these networks become. Beyond that, it's then broken down to different companies or projects selling block space. That's all they do, which is a data storage and essentially that block or distributed ledger. And they've all got a different sales approach. Bitcoin has, we're the most trusted, we're secure. Ethereum is like, we're the broad big one. Solana's like, we're the fast retail. So everyone is selling block space. But again, we're all incentivized to get passionate behind these things because of the tokens. This whole thing is being driven by a big macro trend. The big macro trend is the debasement of currency. So as liquidity gets pushed into the markets every 4 years when the governments go and roll their debts, this is driven by everything I call the everything code, some work that I did showing that every 4 years governments need to refinance their debts. And what they do is inject massive liquidity to be able to do it and try and get interest rates lower. So as we do that, it creates a perfect 4-year cycle. And it's not going to go away until we get rid of the debt equations and everything else. So where are we in the 4-year cycle? I break them down by seasons, each year being a different season. Okay, winter being when liquidity is being taken away, 2022. 2023, spring. Okay, markets stop going down, people don't quite believe it yet, but you see green shoots coming, but it still feels a bit wintry and cold and miserable. Then summer, which is what we're finishing now. Macro summer is year 3, same year as the election cycles. And then we go into macro fall or autumn. Normally it lasts until about November because of this cycle. It lasts until November, and we have different structures of these cycles. We had the last one, which it usually has a peak around tax season. So March, people have to sell some tokens to pay taxes. It falls for a bit and then it rips at the end of the year. Last time it fell 50% over that period in 2021. And then it ripped, but it didn't really extend and everyone kind of got caught out by it was double top. 2017 and 13, well, they were different. They had the same cycle structure. It went to the summer, 2017, Bitcoin 10x'd from there in 4 months.
It's the same.
And that's the blow-off cycle. So we don't know what we're going to get, a stunted cycle or a blow-off cycle, But thinking about the political change and what's been going on, the probability has to be towards a blowout cycle. So that will be much higher price than everyone expects. Most people have PTSD from the last cycle. And they don't want to overextend themselves, and they're worried that they're going to be caught holding the bag, which usually means they'll sell early because the markets give as much pain to the most number of people as possible. Why in 2021, everyone's expecting 2017 to happen. It doesn't. Maximum pain. Let's say we're towards the end of 2025. The US economy and the global economy's picked up. What happens is inflation usually picks up a bit and the central banks start raising rates or tightening liquidity in some form. And that slows down 2026. Doesn't mean we get a recession, but we get a slowdown. So unless we change that dynamic, there's no reason to believe the 4-year cycle won't keep repeating. It'll stop being repeated once we break the root cause of the problem, which is demographic. Probably everything.
Everything, okay.
It almost doesn't matter, including all the dead tokens. My guess is even stupid shit like Luna will go up, 5x. Why? Because it's now a meme about the broken cycle last time. Who knows what goes up? It gets crazy season, is the point. So that Bitcoin dominance part of the cycle, that starts dropping from here, and then we start having the old season. But nothing structurally looks different. In fact, it's very similar when you map the charts, very similar to the 2016-17 cycle, and not dissimilar to the last one. You go on X and ask people where do they think Bitcoin peaks out. My guess is most answers are 150,000. Well, it's 93,000 as we're speaking. And that's not very, and most people are worried that it's going to peak early. So the PTSD, the collective trauma, is it's not going to go as high as you expect. I need to sell early to take some chips off the table.
Yeah.
And that's when normally you get a correction, everyone says, thank God for that. And then it rips and everybody's caught.
So I got it.
And I've seen that so many times. It's like, oh shit, I sold too soon. And we've got new buyers now. We've got sovereigns. We've got giant family offices. We've got Middle East. We've got US government potentially. We've got...
Do they even know about the 4-year cycle in your opinion?
Christ, I've talked a lot about it. Yes, I think a lot of them do. I think they realize it's a very cyclical asset. It's like tech stocks. It's very similar. They understand the volatility and they understand it's mainly 4 years. But there's a whole bunch of people who won't care about the pension plans because that's not their time horizon. Their time horizon is 10 years, 20 years. So they don't care about it. So most of those guys aren't really in yet, but they're likely to be buyers later in the cycle because they're not the fastest to pull a trigger. And so they might push the extended rally at the end of it as they come.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe for news and expert predictions direct to your inbox.